So my number one piece of advice would be for anyone considering building a space to hire a landscape design professional.
Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Outdoor Living, where we talk all things landscape design, hardscaping, and masonry. I'm your host, Nick Cervini, and today we're joined by John Kelly, the founder of Mainline's premier outdoor living space company, Kelly Masonry. After you decide you're ready to invest in an outdoor living space, what do you do next? Do you start building the space yourself, or do you find a professional to do it for you? Should you hire a landscape designer to help visualize your ideas before starting work? We'll cover these questions and more in today's episode. Before we start, let's define what we mean exactly when we talk about an outdoor living space. John, what does this term usually include?
So I normally tell our clients there's four main elements to consider. And those elements would be, number one is a deck or a patio. Two would be planting. Three would be, a possible fire feature or a cooking area. Number four would be, the lawn, plantings, trees that can be also used to enhance the beauty of the new space.
Do you need to include all four of these elements for it to be considered an outdoor living space?
No, you don't have to include all four. You can, use as many as one of these elements, or you can use them all together. And also with the design, and you can break it down into a common sense approach with, if you can't do it all in one budget, you can break it down into different phases.
Okay, let's say I know which element or elements I want to incorporate in my outdoor living space. How do I decide between building it myself or hiring a professional?
It's a good question, Nick. So, the way I normally approach that is it really depends on the skill level of the homeowner and how much or how comfortable they are with how much they can handle. If it's a small, simple, something they can do over the weekend, install a little bit of concrete or some concrete pavers, certainly I would tell the homeowners to attempt to do that themselves. But if it's a little bit more involved, they may want to consider hiring a professional.
Could you elaborate on what you mean by a little more involved? Let's say the homeowner wants to build a flagstone patio or a fire pit. Is that something they can handle?
They can, but if they decide to add other elements in, like an outdoor cooking area, fire pit, fireplace, lighting, getting gas out to a cooking area, is there a water feature? Is it covered in? So there's so many different other elements that can go into an outdoor space that may be above the average homeowner's skill set. So at that point, that's kind of going back to where they would really want to consider hiring the right professional for it.
How much money can I expect to spend on an outdoor living space if I were to hire a professional?
So that's another good question, Nick. Outdoor living space cost or budget really depends on what's really important and what are the non-negotiables as such that you want out there. Like a simple patio, small patio, maybe a sitting wall, a fire pit can run anywhere from 10 to 15,000, where if you're wanting a space with a built-in fireplace, maybe a TV out there, lighting, roof, water feature, those spaces can, run up to 100,000 or above.
Many contractors would recommend hiring a landscape designer before starting work. Obviously, that's another expense for the homeowner. What value do you see in hiring a landscape designer?
So the beauty of hiring a designer to help you with designing your outdoor space is it establishes a few different things. Number one really being one of the big factors is budget. How much everything's going to cost. Also, how you're going to use the space. Are you going to use it for cooking, grilling, or a relaxation space, or both? You might want a couple of different rooms. Like how many people are you going to entertain out there, how much furniture, what type of furniture, and it really just helps people visualize what that space looks like because we can provide it in 3D drawing. So So with our designs, you get 3D renderings, which really helps you visualize the space, and you can see yourself sitting in it. And material choices, colors, is it natural stone, flagstone, concrete pavers, which come in a huge variety of colors and textures. Or are we pulling in elements from the house? Is it an existing stone home, brick, stucco, and all those things can be incorporated into the design.
If the homeowner wants to add lighting to their outdoor living space, would that be included in the design?
That would also be included in the design, and our designs actually show, what that lighting would look like, where it would be placed, whether it's under wall cap lighting, fixtures, or simple cafe lighting overhanging the space.
Something I'm sure many homeowners are going to be worrying about is the maintenance. Would the designer be able to tell them what sort of upkeep is needed for the new space?
Definitely, for sure, Nick. The designer, would certainly take in the landscape around the home. Do you have a lot of trees there? How much planting is around the new area? But also just the materials themselves, like what maintenance is normally involved in pavers, whether it's an annual washing, polymeric sand versus wet set natural stone, which may need sealed, or both. But most outdoor spaces today are, it's a simple annual or biannual cleaning and just keeping on top of things.
What is your number one piece of advice to homeowners who are hoping to start this process themselves?
So my number one piece of advice would be for anyone considering to build a space to hire a landscape design professional.
To recap, we've defined what makes an outdoor living space, and we've discussed some scenarios in which the homeowner can possibly construct it themselves or should hire a professional. Either way, it sure sounds like an outdoor living space is an investment, and the design is just the beginning of the process. Last question, John. As someone who's built countless spaces throughout the years, what do you see as the main benefit of building your own outdoor living space?
Building an outdoor space is a really good investment. There's so many different things that pays dividends on, such as making, family life. You're making memories out there, cooking together, hanging out together, and also, if you decide to move, whether you're moving out of the area, downsizing, or moving to a larger home, you're going to get the money back on that investment in an outdoor space.